I'm Adam, and with me is my wonderful co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Adam. Hello, everyone. We're excited to have you with us today.
Today, we're going to talk about something very important for anyone learning English: effective study techniques. Whether you're just starting or you've been learning for a while, having good study habits can make a big difference.
That's right, Adam. Learning a new language can be challenging, but with the right techniques, it can also be very rewarding. We'll share some tips and strategies that can help you learn English more effectively.
We know that many of you might feel overwhelmed at times. There's so much to learn, from grammar rules to vocabulary and pronunciation. But don't worry, we're here to help.
Effective study techniques are like having a good map when you're on a journey. They can guide you, help you stay on track, and make sure you reach your destination faster and with less stress.
Absolutely. So, whether you're studying English for work, travel, or just for fun, these tips will be very useful. Let's get started.
Yes, let's dive in. First, we'll share some personal experiences with learning English and the challenges we faced. Then we'll discuss specific techniques you can use to study more effectively.
And remember, it's not just about studying harder, but also about studying smarter. So, let's get into it and make your English learning journey as smooth and enjoyable as possible.
Great, stay with us. And by the end of this episode, you'll have some practical tools to improve your English study routine.
All right, let's talk about our own experiences with learning English. Julia, would you like to start?
Sure, Adam. When I first started learning English, I was very young. My parents enrolled me in an English class when I was about 6 years old. At first, it was really fun because we played a lot of games and sang songs in English. But as I got older, it became more challenging. I remember struggling with grammar rules and pronunciation. There were so many words that sounded similar but had different meanings, like there, and there.
I can relate to that, Julia. For me, learning English started in middle school. I was already fluent in my native language, so switching to English was quite difficult. One of the biggest challenges I faced was understanding the different accents. British English sounded so different from American English, and that confused me a lot.
Yes, accents can be tricky. I also had a hard time with listening skills. When I watched English movies or listened to English songs, I couldn't understand everything they said. It was frustrating at times.
Exactly. I remember feeling very shy and nervous about speaking English. I was afraid of making mistakes and sounding silly in front of others. This fear held me back for a long time.
That's a common challenge for many learners. Speaking a new language requires a lot of practice and confidence. I used to practice speaking English with my friends, and that helped a lot. We would have small conversations about our day, what we liked, and other simple topics.
Practice is definitely key. I found that writing in English helped me improve. I started keeping a journal where I wrote about my day and my thoughts in English. It was a safe space where I could practice without feeling judged.
That's a great idea, Adam. Writing helps reinforce what you've learned and gives you a chance to apply new vocabulary and grammar rules. Another challenge I faced was keeping myself motivated. Learning a new language takes time and effort, and it's easy to get discouraged.
Motivation is crucial. I kept myself motivated by setting small, achievable goals. For example, I would aim to learn 5 new words every week or watch 1 English movie without subtitles each month. These small goals kept me going and made the learning process more manageable.
Yes, setting goals is very important. It gives you a sense of direction and accomplishment. I also joined English-speaking clubs where I could practice speaking with other learners and native speakers. It was a fun way to improve my skills and make new friends.
That sounds wonderful, Julia. Engaging with a community of learners can provide support and encouragement. I also found that immersing myself in the language helped a lot. I listened to English music, read English books, and watched English TV shows as much as possible. It helped me get used to the language and improve my understanding.
Immersion is a great technique. The more you expose yourself to the language, the faster you'll learn. It's like surrounding yourself with English, so it becomes a part of your daily life.
So true, Julia. These experiences taught us valuable lessons about learning English. We faced challenges, but we also found effective ways to overcome them. And now, we want to share those techniques with our listeners to help them on their journey.
Yes, we've all been there, and we understand the struggles. But with the right techniques and a positive mindset, anyone can improve their English skills. Let's dive into some specific study techniques that can help our listeners learn English more effectively.
Okay, let's start with setting goals. Julia, why is setting goals important when learning English?
Setting goals is crucial because it gives you a clear direction and helps you stay focused. Without goals, it's easy to feel lost and overwhelmed. When you set clear, achievable goals, you can track your progress and stay motivated.
Absolutely. For example, a short-term goal could be learning 5 new vocabulary words each week. A long-term goal might be being able to hold a basic conversation in English within 6 months.
That's right. Goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, or SMART. This way, you know exactly what you're working towards and when you've achieved it.
Now let's talk about creating a study schedule. Julia, how can having a consistent study routine help English learners?
A consistent study routine helps you build good habits and makes learning a part of your daily life. It's easier to remember what you've learned if you review and practice regularly.
That makes sense. To create an effective schedule, you can start by setting aside specific times each day for studying. Even 15 to 30 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Yes, and it's important to mix different activities to keep things interesting. For example, you can spend one day practicing vocabulary, another day listening to an English podcast, and another day speaking with a language partner.
Speaking of vocabulary, let's talk about using flashcards. Julia, how can flashcards help with vocabulary building?
Flashcards are great for memorizing new words and phrases. You can write the word on one side of the card and the definition or translation on the other side. Reviewing flashcards regularly helps reinforce your memory.
And don't forget about spaced repetition. This technique involves reviewing your flashcards at increasing intervals, which helps you remember information for longer periods.
Exactly. There are many apps available that use spaced repetition, making it easier to practice on the go. Now, let's move on to speaking practice. Adam, why is it important to practice speaking English?
Speaking practice is essential because it helps you become more comfortable and confident in using the language. The more you speak, the better you get at expressing yourself and understanding others.
Yes, and finding conversation partners can be very helpful. You can join language exchange groups, find a language buddy, or use apps that connect you with native speakers.
Listening practice is also important. Julia, what are some good ways to improve listening skills?
Listening to native speakers helps you get used to the sounds and rhythms of English. You can listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or watch movies and TV shows in English. Try to choose content that interests you, so it's more enjoyable.
Great advice. For reading practice, what are some beginner-friendly resources?
There are many easy-to-read books and articles designed for English learners. Start with children's books or graded readers, which are books written specifically for different language levels. Websites like newsinlevels.com offer news articles in simple English.
And for writing practice, it's important to write regularly. Julia, what are some ideas for writing exercises?
Keeping a journal is a great way to practice writing. You can write about your day, your thoughts, or even create short stories. Other exercises include writing letters, emails, or essays on topics you enjoy.
Finally, let's talk about using technology. Julia, how can apps and online resources help with learning English?
Technology offers many tools to support your learning. There are apps for vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and even speaking practice. Websites offer free lessons, quizzes, and interactive exercises. The key is to find resources that work best for you and use them consistently.
Absolutely. With so many resources available, learning English has never been more accessible. The important thing is to stay motivated, set clear goals, and use effective study techniques.
That's right. Learning English is a journey, and with the right techniques and a positive attitude, you can make great progress. Keep practicing and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're part of the learning process.
Well said, Julia. We hope these tips help our listeners improve their English skills. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Now let's talk about the study environment. Julia, why is having a good study environment so important for learning English?
A good study environment is crucial because it can greatly impact your focus, motivation, and overall productivity. When you have a dedicated space for studying, free from distractions, you're more likely to stay on task and make the most of your study time. Your environment sets the tone for how effective your learning sessions will be.
Absolutely. It's like creating a personal learning sanctuary. Let's dive into some tips for creating a conducive study space. Julia, what's the first thing learners should consider?
The first thing to consider is choosing a quiet and comfortable location. If possible, find a place in your home where you can study without interruptions. This could be a quiet room, a corner of your bedroom, or even a designated spot in your living room. The key is to minimize noise and distractions.
That's a great start. Another important aspect is making sure your study area is well lit. Good lighting helps reduce eye strain and keeps you alert. Natural light is ideal, so try to study near a window. If that's not possible, use a good desk lamp with a bright white light.
Yes, good lighting makes a big difference. Next, think about the furniture. You want to be comfortable, but not too comfortable that you might fall asleep. Choose a chair that provides good back support and a desk or table that's at a comfortable height for writing and using your computer.
Ergonomics are key. You should also keep your study space organized and clutter-free. A tidy environment helps reduce stress and makes it easier to find what you need. Use shelves, drawers, or containers to store your study materials neatly. Keep only the essentials on your desk to avoid distractions.
That's right, Adam. Speaking of essentials, make sure you have all your study materials within reach. This includes textbooks, notebooks, pens, highlighters, a dictionary, and any other resources you use regularly. Having everything you need close by helps maintain your focus and reduces the time spent looking for things.
And don't forget about technology. If you use a computer or tablet for studying, ensure it's set up in a way that's easy to access. Keep your devices charged and have any necessary software or apps ready to go. But remember to manage distractions. It's easy to get sidetracked by social media or other apps.
Good point. You can use apps or browser extensions to block distracting websites during your study time. Setting your phone to Do Not Disturb mode can also help you stay focused.
Another tip is to personalize your study space. Make it a place you enjoy spending time in. Add some decorations, motivational quotes, or photos that inspire you. A comfortable, inviting space can boost your mood and make studying feel less like a chore.
Personal touches make a big difference. You can also consider adding some plants to your study area. Plants can improve air quality and create a calming atmosphere, which can enhance your concentration and well-being.
That's a lovely idea. Finally, consider the temperature and air quality. A room that's too hot or too cold can be distracting. Try to keep your study area at a comfortable temperature and make sure it's well ventilated. Fresh air can help keep you alert and focused. That's a lovely idea. Finally, consider the temperature and air quality. A room that's too hot or too cold can be distracting. Try to keep your study area at a comfortable temperature and make sure it's well ventilated. Fresh air can help keep you alert and focused.
Absolutely. So, to sum up, a good study environment is quiet, comfortable, well-lit, organized, and free from distractions. It's equipped with all the necessary materials, personalized to your taste, and maintains a comfortable temperature and air quality.
Creating such an environment can make a huge difference in your learning efficiency. It helps you stay focused, motivated, and productive. Remember, your study space is a reflection of your commitment to learning. Invest some time in setting it up right, and it will pay off in your English learning journey.
Well said, Adam. A good study environment sets the stage for success. We hope these tips help our listeners create their own ideal study spaces. Happy studying, everyone.
Now let's talk about something really important: motivation and consistency. These are two key factors that can make or break your journey in learning English.
Absolutely, Adam. Staying motivated and being consistent in your efforts are crucial. Let's start with some strategies on how to stay motivated.
Motivation can be tricky. It can come and go, but there are ways to keep it steady. One effective method is setting clear, achievable goals. When you have specific targets, you can see your progress, and that keeps you motivated.
Yes, short-term goals, like learning 5 new words a day or finishing a chapter in a book, can give you quick wins that boost your confidence. Long-term goals, such as passing a language exam or being able to hold a conversation with a native speaker, give you a sense of direction and purpose.
Another great way to stay motivated is to track your progress. Keep a journal or use an app to log your daily achievements. When you look back and see how far you've come, it's a powerful motivator to keep going.
I also find that rewarding yourself for reaching your goals works wonders. Treat yourself to something you enjoy when you hit a milestone. It could be a favorite snack, a movie, or even a day off from studying.
That's a great point, Julia. And don't forget to make learning fun. Use games, apps, and interactive resources. If you enjoy what you're doing, you're more likely to stick with it.
Finding a study buddy can also help. Having someone to share your journey with, exchange tips, and practice speaking with can keep you motivated. You can encourage each other and celebrate each other's successes.
And if you ever feel your motivation dipping, remind yourself why you started learning English in the first place. Whether it's for career advancement, travel, or connecting with new people, keep your reasons in mind to reignite your passion.
Now let's talk about consistency. Motivation gets you started, but consistency keeps you going. It's about making studying a regular part of your routine.
Exactly. Studying a little bit every day is far more effective than cramming all at once. Consistency helps you retain information better and build a habit of learning.
Creating a study schedule can help with consistency. Plan specific times for studying each day and stick to them. Treat it like an appointment you can't miss.
And it's important to mix things up to keep it interesting. Don't just focus on one skill. Rotate between reading, writing, listening, and speaking. This not only keeps you engaged, but also ensures you're improving all aspects of your language skills.
Consistency also means practicing even when you don't feel like it. There will be days when you're tired or not in the mood. On those days, even a short study session can make a big difference.
That's right. And remember, it's okay to take breaks and rest when needed. The key is to get back to your routine as soon as possible. Think of it like brushing your teeth, a small but regular habit that leads to big results over time.
Another tip for maintaining consistency is to integrate English into your daily life. Label items in your home with their English names, think in English, and try to use English in your daily conversations, even if it's just a few words.
And don't be afraid to revisit topics you find difficult. Consistent review is important. It helps reinforce what you've learned and clears up any misunderstandings.
Finally, be patient with yourself. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep pushing forward.
So, to recap, staying motivated and being consistent are both vital for learning English effectively. Set clear goals, track your progress, reward yourself, and make learning enjoyable.
And remember to create a study routine. Mix up your activities, practice regularly, and integrate English into your daily life. With these strategies, you'll be well on your way to success.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope these tips help you stay motivated and consistent in your English learning journey. Next, let's talk about some common mistakes that English learners often make. These mistakes can slow down your progress, but the good news is that they can be avoided with a little awareness and adjustment.
One of the biggest mistakes is not practicing all 4 language skills equally. Many learners focus too much on one area, like reading or writing, and neglect speaking and listening. This creates an imbalance and can hinder overall fluency.
Another common mistake is being afraid to make mistakes. Perfectionism can be a major roadblock. If you're constantly worried about speaking perfectly, you might avoid speaking altogether, which limits your practice opportunities.
Absolutely. It's important to remember that making mistakes is a natural part of learning. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve.
Another mistake is not setting realistic goals. Some learners set goals that are too ambitious, which can lead to frustration and burnout. It's important to set achievable targets that you can gradually build upon.
And then there's the issue of inconsistent practice. Some learners study intensively for a short period and then stop altogether. This stop-and-start approach is less effective than consistent daily practice.
Many learners also rely too heavily on translation. While it can be helpful at times, translating everything from your native language can slow down your progress. It's better to try to think directly in English.
Another common mistake is focusing too much on grammar and not enough on communication. While grammar is important, the goal is to communicate effectively. Sometimes learners get so caught up in perfecting grammar that they forget to actually use the language in real conversations.
Lastly, using outdated or unengaging resources can be a mistake. Learning methods and materials have evolved. Sticking to boring or outdated resources can make learning feel like a chore rather than an exciting challenge.
To avoid these mistakes, start by practicing all 4 language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Allocate time for each in your study schedule to ensure a balanced approach.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them as part of your learning process. Speak as much as you can, even if you're not confident. Each conversation is a step towards improvement.
Set realistic, achievable goals. Break down your larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. This way, you can track your progress and stay motivated.
Consistency is key. Aim to study a little bit every day rather than cramming. Make language learning a daily habit, even if it's just for 10-15 minutes.
Try to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Watch English movies or TV shows, listen to English music, and read English books or articles. The more you're exposed to the language, the more natural it will become.
Focus on communication over perfection. Use the language in real-life situations and don't worry too much about making mistakes. The goal is to convey your message and understand others.
How do you usually study English?
Mostly reading and memorizing words.
Do you use those words in speaking or writing?
Not really. I'm scared of mistakes.
Mistakes help you learn. Do you practice outside textbooks?
No. Should I?
Definitely. Try recording yourself speaking.
Recording. Why?
It builds confidence. You'll hear your progress.
Sounds awkward.
At first, yes, but it's like training for real conversations.
I see.
Short sessions work better too.
Shorter. Why is that?
Keeps you focused and avoids burnout.
Makes sense. What else?
Immerse yourself, watch videos or listen to podcasts.
I've done that a bit.
Do it daily. Focus on topics you love.
Okay. How about writing?
Start small, journals, notes, or messages.
Small steps, got it?
And review what you learn. Repetition matters.
Like flashcards.
Perfect example.
All right, I'll try these.
Great, let's explore more next time.
Did you try any of the techniques we discussed?
Yes, I started recording myself speaking.
How did it feel?
Awkward at first, but after a few tries, it got easier.
Good. Did you notice anything about your speaking?
Yeah, I paused a lot and mispronounced some words.
That's normal. Now you know what to work on. Did you practice correcting those?
I repeated the sentences until they sounded smoother.
Excellent. Repetition helps. What about writing?
I wrote a short journal entry. It wasn't perfect, but I finished it.
That's progress. Did you review it?
I did. I found some grammar mistakes.
Great. Fixing them helps you remember. Did you try any immersive activities?
I watched a TV show in English.
Subtitles or no subtitles?
Subtitles in English.
Smart choice. Did you write down any phrases?
A few. Should I memorize them?
Instead, try using them in your own sentences.
Oh, like creating examples.
Exactly. It makes the phrases stick.
I'll try that. Anything else for listening practice?
Podcasts or audiobooks are great. Focus on one topic at a time.
Should I take notes while listening?
If it helps you stay engaged, yes, or just enjoy the flow sometimes.
What about reading?
Choose things you enjoy, articles, stories, even social media posts.
Should I look up every word I don't know?
No, guess the meaning from context first, then look up keywords.
That saves time.
Exactly. Also, join conversations if you can.
Like online groups.
Yes, language forums, chat apps, or even games.
I'll try that. What about confidence in speaking?
Start simple, practice common phrases and greetings.
And then build up to longer sentences?
Exactly. Don't rush. Consistency is key.
Got it. This feels more doable now.
Good. Keep experimenting and don't be afraid to adapt your methods.
I'll stick with it. Thanks for the advice.